Hotel manager accidentally exposed that my fiancée slept with the wedding planner. So I called off the wedding and kicked her out of my house. Today was supposed to be my wedding day and the happiest day of my life, getting married to the love of my life. But see, here I am on this thread, pinning down my miserable life. I, 37 male, was about to be married to Brianna, 29 female, today. I had proposed to her a month ago, and she was elated about it. We've been seeing each other for almost 2 years now, and I felt it was time for us to exchange vows. You see, I'm more of a boring and introverted nerd of sorts. If you ask me to plan an event, I would most likely put together the most basic stuff and get done with it. So when she proposed to take the charge, I happily handed over my credit card to her. That was my contribution to our wedding. Brianna wanted to hire a wedding planner for the big day. She was involved in every basic detail of the event. I wanted the wedding to be in a month, but she said it would take at least 3 months to pull off the kind of wedding she wanted. I agreed to have it her way. I met the planner once to seal the deal, and the next time I met them, my world crashed. Brianna shortlisted 2 wedding planners for me to meet and finalized one. To finalize Mira, she was damn good at her business. That was it, I know. The preparation was going on. I got busy at work, trying to wrap up my work before the wedding. We had planned for a week-long honeymoon to Paris, so before that, I had to wind up my work. Brianna used to update me on the progress, and I was cool with that. The planning was going on fine. Then one day Brianna told me that Mira met with an accident and fractured her knees. She was on cast for the next 6 weeks. In her absence, her stepbrother would be stepping in to take care of her work. Few days after this, I asked Brianna if everything was going okay, and she said yes. Myra's brother was handling it well. 2 weeks before our wedding, the venue we had earlier decided had to be canceled due to a sudden rain predicted on those dates. It was an outdoor location, so we had to switch to something indoor. They shortlisted the banquet hall of a 5-star hotel. Brianna asked me to spare some time to visit the new venue and write a check to them. I took 2 hours off from work, picked up Brianna, and drove to the location. Mira was there with her brother. She had recovered from her injuries, but her brother was still handling the arrangements. We 4 were waiting for the manager in charge of the booking to arrive. A few minutes later, a middle-aged woman arrived. She introduced herself as the banquet hall manager and straight went to greet Brianna, saying, "You must be the bride. The glow of your face speaks of itself." Our friend was also saying that Brianna had been glowing ever since I proposed to her, while the wedding could be a reason. There were other factors too. Brianna turned pale on seeing that lady and was cutting her in between. After hugging Brianna, that lady greeted Myra's brother and said, "You're a lucky man to have such a gorgeous woman as your fiancée. No wonder you're unable to take your hands off of her." Brianna grinned and intervened. There must have been some misunderstanding. The lady tried to assure Brianna, said, "Oh, don't be embarrassed. You guys are so much in love and going to be married soon. I run this hotel. I see so many couples making out in the elevator every day. It's a no big deal for me." Mira sensed the discomfort in the situation and pitched in, but it was too late. She said, "Okay, we were here to discuss the final quotation of the venue." I stood up and left without saying a word. I couldn't sit there pretending nothing had happened. I understood what exactly had been going on there. Brianna ran behind me, trying to stop me. I closed the elevator on her face, rushed to the parking lot, and drove off. I could see her chasing my car in the basement. That 15-minute drive to work was the most difficult drive for me. My phone was constantly buzzing with her calls and voicemails. I reached the office, but was really not in a condition to work. I requested in the reception not to forward any calls or meetings for that day and canceled all the impending ones for the day. After like hundreds of missed calls from Brianna, I responded. It was all about, "That's not how it sounded. There's a misunderstanding." That lady admitted that she might have a mistake in me for someone else. She wants to apologize to you. Would you please come and meet her once again? I said I'm no fool here. She insisted that I meet the woman once again to clear the confusion. I held up without saying anything. I didn't respond to her after that call. In the evening, I got a call from Mira. She said she was starting to interfere on her personal matter, but she also requested me to meet that woman and see for myself what she had to say. I said I don't know. I'm not in the right state of mind right now. After thinking a lot about it, I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt and meet that woman. I didn't tell Mira or Brianna about it. The next day, I again went to the hotel and asked for that lady. I was escorted to her cabin and she apologized to me. She said she might have seen someone else and mistakenly took it for Brianna. I was convinced by her reason. I mean, she could be confused by one person, but not both of them. She said maybe I saw Brianna and that young man together during their site visit, and next instance, I saw some other couple making out and got confused. I asked her she could show me the camera footage of the elevator on that day Brianna visited the venue. She suddenly turned pale and stammered her way to say that she couldn't. It was beyond her company's policy to show the camera footage to the outsiders. The security policy was understandable, but her behavior was still suspicious to me. I asked her why she was explaining herself and why she needed to be so apologetic. She said she was worried about getting fired from her job if Mira complained about her big mouth behavior to the hotel owner. I mean, the hotel lost its bookings due to her nowsiness. I said, look, I don't believe your reason at all, but if you're worried about your job, I can assure you that it won't be affected. I called Mira right in front of that lady and told her I was canceling the booking for the venue, and she wouldn't do anything to jeopardize that lady's job. Mira asked me if I had met that woman. I said yes, and she has cleared the confusion from her end, but I still want to call off the wedding, and it has nothing to do with the hotel manager. Mira said okay and hung up. That woman thanked me for it. While I was leaving, she asked for my card. I gave it to her. Later in the evening, I got a call from her, and she told me that she had actually seen Brianna with that wedding manager guy, and there was no confusion. She had agreed to lie to me to save her job. Brianna had begged her to lie, and even softly threatened her that she would complain to the management about her nosy behavior. I asked her why she is speaking the truth now. She said I was kind to her, and she wanted me to know the truth because she had a broken house due to a cheating husband. She understands the pain of betrayal. Fair enough. I didn't tell anyone about this. I'm not that social of a guy. My work keeps me busy. I have a close-knit bond with my siblings, but I didn't tell them or my mom either. Meanwhile, Brianna kept sending me cute texts and selfies. I'm yet to block her or even confront her about the truth, though I understood the truth on the very first meeting with this lady. Meeting her for the second time got me thinking about Brianna's cruelty. I mean, how could she stoop so low to threaten the woman for her job and force her to lie? Now I wonder if I really know the woman I was supposed to be getting married today. Edit 1. I didn't go home on D-Day. I spent the night at my office. The next day, I met the woman at the hotel, and things became crystal clear. That evening, I called Mira and asked her to come down to my office. When she was here, I told her I wanted to terminate the contract. I was ready to pay whatever it was under their policy and some extra compensation for her loss. But she politely refused. She charged me whatever was within the contract. She even gave me an extra refund out of empathy. But I think it's her guilt because our life got screwed because of her low-life brother. She said she would initiate the exit formalities and mail me. It was sorted. Brianna was still texting me, asking me when I would come home and all those loving and caring messages. She flipped when Mira sent the contract termination email. Donna Panic called me, asking me to come home and talk this out like adults. I responded that she needs to vacate my house and there's nothing left to be talked about. She came down to my office, but I asked my reception desk to not let her inside my cabin until I was busy. I called her and asked her to leave. I said I was not in the state to have any rational conversation with her and that she should not bother me for some time. She vacated the house with her essentials but left the car. It was gifted by me on her last birthday. I've been holding myself strongly until now, but today was supposed to be my wedding. Calls from friends and relatives are making it worse. I've switched off my phone from the morning. Update 1. I spent the next week living in a cocoon, limiting my conversation only with my senior staff or worker that had stuff. I asked my wedding planner to do me a favor and send a cancellation email to all guests who were invited. That led to a flooding of calls and texts for pretty much everyone. My side of people were worried about me. Her family and friends were behind me for reconciliation. Brianna were still telling everyone that I had called off the wedding over some stupid misunderstanding. I let it be. After a week of sulking and brooding over my sorrows, I had to move my butt to work. I don't have the luxury of just moving out of the city and disappearing like others I read on this subreddit. I wish I had that luxury. Now I'm cursing myself, or even trying to get into this love crap. Glad they have been away from all these for so long. I should have been that way. My friends were right in saying I'm late for the wedding bills. It has to do with my family setup. My dad passed away when I was in college final year, leaving his manufacturing business to me. I have a sister and a younger brother. The sister was in freshman year when dad passed away, and my brother was still in high school. So eminently everything came to me. Our business was not sort of a multinational level that could operate with the board and trustees without the owner's presence. It's a mid-sized manufacturing business where someone needs to actually run the show to survive. I was quick to jump into the boat and take it over. We had no other option. We had a house mortgage and a college education to fund my siblings and support my mom. She is not a working woman. I worked hard to learn the business and tried to scale it up. I was so worked up for all these years that my love life had been for a toss. I had a few things here and there, but nothing got serious, not even casual relationships. Most of it was one night and casual sex. I met Brianna 2 years back at a common friends party. She was so bubbly and cheerful that I couldn't take my eyes off of her. We started off at casual fling and didn't realize when I fell for her. She should get a lot of credit for putting up with my busy schedule. She had been patient and accommodating in my work commitments. That's when she said she wanted a wedding of her choice. I readily agreed. She deserved a half-o-dream wedding, and that's what I thought until now. I haven't told a lot of people the reason for our wedding fallout. Mom and siblings knew, and for the rest of the others, they don't need to know. Brianna showed up at my mom's thinking she didn't know the truth. She requested Mom to help us reconcile. Out of respect, Mom didn't spill the truth and said she would ask me to call her. I didn't want to, but Mom convinced me to have closure. It's necessary to even move on. All the hows, whys, and whens need to be answered. I'm not sure if I really need closure, or if I have moved on without that. I'll do it if I feel the need to have the answers. Edit 1. I have canceled the honeymoon bookings we had for Paris. It was insurance covered, so I got the refund pretty much except for the flight booking. I canceled it last moment. Edit 2. People calling her a gold digger, please don't use that word. I don't want to put all sorts of labels on her because she cheated. She cheated and I called off the wedding. That's it. I don't want to be disrespectful, torture unnecessarily. Update 2. Brianna showed up at my door last day. I knew she eventually would. If this was earlier, I might have gotten a restraining order against her, but now I think my anger has subsided. The pain is still there, but I think now I was ready to at least listen to her. I let her in. She wanted to hug me, but I blocked her. Before she started speaking, I said I know the truth, so better not to manipulate it. She went numb for some time and said I'm here to confess, and went on to say, the cheating was never intended, but it just happened. One thing led to another. When Mira injured her knee, I was terrified about the whole arrangement and also kind of annoyed. Her brother, Aaron, a fair partner, took over her work, and I kind of got more involved to make everything seamless. The verse 2 to 3 times, I didn't even notice him that closely. Our conversation was very transactional. Only when we went for the wedding dress trial, and the way he meticulously selected everything for me to match my taste and elegance, did I notice him. He was just being extra nice and sweet to me. I'm sorry, I know I screwed up. I kind of fell for his flirtatious comments about my beauty and features. Unknowingly, I was seeking validation from him. It was so flattering I couldn't resist myself. She broke down, bawling out her lungs. I asked her when they crossed the limits. She asked if I really wanted to know all the details. I said yes. She said, when we went to visit the hotel venue, Aaron picked me up. I was floored by his chivalry. In the car he was trying to touch me, but I didn't reciprocate it. But we eventually made out in the elevator. That's when that manager saw us. Coincidentally, she saw us again when we were leaving the hotel. We were making out again. I asked her if it was just that. She stammered.
No.
I booked a room in the same hotel and had it 2 to 3 times. It suffocated me so badly that I had to get up and take a tour to the front porch to gasp some air. It was it all. She said yes. And then on the next day, that lady at the hotel spilled out the truth. Brianna was also choking because of heavy breathing. I realized her guilt was giving her tough times. She looked pathetic. She kept crying and apologizing. I couldn't hold back my tears. She held my arms and asked if there was the slightest chance of getting back together. I said no. She let a fair partner sleep with her because he complimented her generously. It was such a cheap deal for her. I cannot trust someone so shallow. I mean, if her reason is that his flattering compliments lowered her into his pants, then there could be so many areas where I faltered and others are good at that. I'm busy at work. I'm not that romantic kind of person. I'm introverted and not very good at giving compliments. This means every time she meets a guy who has these qualities which I don't, she would cheat. She said I was indirectly calling her a whore. I said I'm not putting any label on her, but speaking the facts. She has never cheated on me for all these years, and she had never found me incompetent and said my love was just enough for her. I wish it was, but it's not. I don't want to live in a constant feeling of insecurity and incompetence that she might meet someone better and EFF everything again. There were several rounds of breakdowns, crying and apologizing for hours. I realized it was not working. It was getting worse for both of us, especially me. I was getting weak and falling for tears. So I showed my backbone and stood up to leave and told her I had packed and kept her remaining stuff in the garage. She didn't say anything and kept sobbing. I came back after an hour and she was gone. I checked the garage. She had taken her stuff. I feel lighter after. Indeed, closure helped me in my case. I didn't think I needed it, but glad I listened to my mom and gave it a shot. Update 3. This is mostly going to be my last update. Might delete the account later. Updating here has helped me clear my head and moved on. Thanks to everyone who made me feel I'm not alone in this. I've unblocked Brianna, but I have also made it clear that we are not going to be together. She understands that now and doesn't bother me. She also confessed the truth to her parents, who then called me to apologize. After I canceled the wedding, they were literally threatening to hunt me down. After knowing the truth, they were sorry about that. I said it was fine and understandable. I have no harsh feelings for them. Now that my anger has subsided, I feel maybe I too have a role to play in this cheating. I need to work on expressing my feelings and letting my loved ones know how much I love them. Communication has been my problem. I love my family and won't give my legs and arms for them, but rarely have I told them that I love them. Same for Brianna. I loved her more than anything else, but was not generous in expressing that feeling. She's the prettiest woman I have seen yet. I didn't tell her this enough. I'm not justifying her cheating at all. Neither I'm planning any reconciliation, but I feel this to be my incompetence. I've scheduled an appointment with the therapist. I'm looking forward to working on this aspect of my personality. I don't wish for any serious relationship now, not least in the near future. Heartbreak is hard. It's dang hard. Thanks for reading this and engaging on my post. I appreciate all the comments, good and bad.